A video game, as defined by Merriam-Webster, is an electronic game played by means of images on a video screen, and often emphasizing fast action. Just like how movies are rated G, PG, PG-13, R, and NC-17, video games are also rated. When it comes to rating video games, the Entertainment Software Rating Board, or the ESRB, is the body of power behind the ratings. Established in 1994 by the Entertainment Software Association, the ESRB is a non-profit, self-regulatory body that assigns ratings for video games so parents can make informed choices on what is appropriate for their children. The ESRB chooses between 7 different ratings to assign to every video game: early childhood, everyone 10 and up, teen, mature, adults only, and rating pending. Each rating encompasses guidance about age appropriateness, content, and interactive elements. ESRB raters are trained to consider a wide range of pertinent content and other elements in assigning a rating. Pertinent content is any content that accurately reflects the most extreme content of the final product and the final product as a whole. Given the interactive nature of video games, the ESRB rating system also takes into account certain unique elements, such as the viewer's perspective, reward systems, and the degree of player control. According to an ESRB Commission survey conducted by Peter D. Hart Research Associates in May and June of 2012, 85% of parents with children who play video games are aware of the rating system, and 70% say they regularly check the rating before buying video games for their children. The ESRB ratings also enjoy high levels of trust among parents who consistently report being satisfied with the level of information it provides in terms of selecting games for their children. A ruling by the U.S. Supreme Court in 2011 found that video games are a constitutionally protected form of expression, and that laws restricting the sale or rental based upon violent content are unconstitutional. So does playing video games have a positive or negative effect? It can be both. Many scientists and psychologists say that video games can actually have many benefits. The main one is making kids smart. Video games are proven to teach high-level and abstract thinking skills, some of which are not and cannot be taught at school. According to University of Wisconsin psychologist C. Sean Green, video games change your brain. Playing video games changes the brain's physical structure the same way as does learning to read, playing the piano, or navigating using a map. The powerful combination of concentration and rewarding surges of neurotransmitters like dopamine strengthen neural circuits that can build the brain, much like how exercise can build muscle. Positive effects of video games include mental enhancements such as following instructions, problem solving, strategy, concentration, hand-eye coordination, fine motor skills, spatial skills, memory, and many more. The sense of virtual reality video gamers are exposed to provides an appropriate place for the release of anger and build-up frustration. When these emotions are vented in a game, it diffuses stress. Video games can provide as much of a positive aggression outlet as football and other sports. Video games are frowned upon by parents who say they are nothing but time wasters. Education experts even go as far to say that video games corrupt the brain. Violent video games are easily blamed by the media and some experts as the reason why some young people become violent or commit extreme antisocial behavior. Most of the negative effects of video games are blamed on the violence they contain. According to many scientific studies, children who play more violent video games are more likely to have increased aggressive thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, and decreased prosocial helping. The effect of video game violence in kids is worsened by the game's interactive nature. In many games, kids are rewarded for being more violent. The act of violence is done repeatedly, the child is in control of the violence and experiences the violence in his or her own eyes. This active participation, repetition, and rewards are effective tools for learning behavior. Too much video game playing can cause social awkwardness and isolation, and although some studies suggest that playing video games enhances a child's concentration, other studies, such as a 2012 paper published in Psychology of Popular Media Culture, have found that games can hurt children's attention issues by damaging long-term concentration. There are both positives and negatives to consider when developing a view on video games. There are resources out there that give recommendations for video games and include guidelines like limiting the time spent playing them and to stick to ESRB ratings when deciding which video games are and are not appropriate for your child. To us, the conclusion is still far from settled.